All right, let's talk about the other two front-running campaigns in this race for Memphis mayor, who really we believe, and most pollsters believe too, have a decent shot of taking this when the election is held next Thursday. And we'll start with Van Turner. We'll let you go first on Van. Boy, has he come on strong. And I have to say, he has picked up every endorsement really that there is to get that might have some influence anyway.
I'm telling you, I mean, but it's late in the game. That's my only concern, and I'm sure that's what's kind of keeping him up at night. Were those endorsements too late? But probably not, because a lot of people have not voted yet. But what he's proud of, I'm sure, is, I mean, he's a former legislator, served on the county commission, former Democratic Party chair, former NAACP president. So he does have a pedigree of sorts. So, and a big-time lawyer. You see him standing next to Ben Crump every time there's a news conference. And so I think he's proud of the work that he's done in the community. But I think what's keeping him up at night is those endorsements were late. And, you know, was it too late to give him the push that he needs to win?
Now, Lee Harris, the Shelby County mayor, had an interesting comment. It was either in the Memphian or the Commercial Appeal. I'm sorry for not knowing that. But he said that Van Turner and a victory by Van Turner will show once and for all that the Memphis mayor does not need to win the Poplar Corridor, that the activists can win the day, and the people will have spoken in that case. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think that that's something to think about. But if you go down the Poplar Corridor, you still see Van Turner signs. Mm-hmm. So what is that saying, right? Yeah. I mean, people are looking at these candidates, and a lot of people do like Van Turner. So it'll be interesting to see how he ranks.
I have to say, there's not a candidate I don't like. I mean,
exactly.
To the public that's watching, you know, we've all had the advantage of knowing these folks, and they all care about their city for sure. Van Turner, what's keeping him up at night, and what does he have to be encouraged by?
I think he is really gratified to get all of these endorsements. Whether it's too late, I'm not sure that it is. I mean, it started right at the beginning of early voting, and there's still a lot of other people who need to vote. And I think and now they're on the airwaves with that. I mean, we've got Justin Pearson doing a television commercial for him. All of that is helping him. He really has the momentum right now. But what's keeping him up is that, you know, are the people who would vote for him, are they really going to come out the way he needs? And will he have to share some of those votes with a Paul Turner, with a Paul Young? I mean, that, I think, is going to be the problem for him.
It goes to the younger vote again, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the Justin Pearson endorsement, because that also came with it $100,000 that he donated to Van's campaign.
Yeah, the PAC, I think. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's significant.
It's texting. I'm getting texts. It's all of that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, speaking of the Poplar Corridor, let's talk about Paul Young, because when you look at the headline from a news release from his campaign just today, they are bragging about the fact that he has raised the most cash, has the most cash on hand, has the most individual contributions. Traditionally, that leads to a very good shot at victory. And let's show you how he's spending some of that money with a commercial that just started, where he's addressing some of the attacks that have been flown in his direction.
Career politicians are trying to smear my name with negative attacks because we're winning and they're desperate. Memphis needs leadership that is planning for the next generation, not just the next election. I'm Paul Young, and for 20 years, I've worked hand in hand with communities to rebuild our neighborhoods. While our opponents play political games, I'm focused on supporting families and breaking the cycle of violence. It's time for a new generation of leadership with a vision to push our city forward. Let's make it happen together.
Otis, your thoughts about the ad, and then I want to start with you in terms of what's keeping Paul Young up at night and what's got him feeling pretty confident.
I think that's one of the best ads that I've seen in the whole campaign. He's got his wife, Jamila, there. He's got the kids there, and his election is about the future. And if it's about the future, you show kids on the playground. And he makes a good statement there. What's keeping him up at night is the same thing that I think is keeping Van Turner up at night. I got to share some of my support with another candidate who's about the same age as I am. I think Paul is a little younger. I think that's what the problem is going to be for him. And if they have to split the votes, somebody else may come up through the middle.
Katherine?
Yeah, I am not sure what all is keeping Paul Young up at night with all that campaign cash. I do think
he's not worried about money.
I will say, I think with the way some other candidates have been attacking him for his 3 times voting in Republican primaries, the fact that Van Turner got all of those Democratic endorsements, Paul Young, in some ways that could help him with some crossover vote, but also in other ways, the very diehard Democrats are very much putting themselves behind Van, and I think that hurts Paul. Interesting.
All right, and Deidre, your thoughts?
He's run a heck of a campaign. I mean, just from start to finish. But if he doesn't spend all of that money when it matters, like now, you know, I would hate for him to get up, you know, I mean, election night and not win and still have cash in the bank and didn't put it all out there to try and win, you know, aggressively. So he definitely needs to do that. I think what's keeping him up at night is he and Van are going after that same base. Right. And those people that are thinking about voting for Paul or Van are trying to decide which way to go, and I think that's keeping them up at night.